What's up, dinguses? Welcome back to the Crazy Music Fanbase tier list. This is a part 2 because I left out quite a few fanbases that you guys wanted me to talk about, so here it is. Like last time, I'm measuring these crazy fanbases by 3 criteria: zeal, drip, and how based or cringe the artist happens to be. The crazier I deem you, the higher up on this tier list you'll go. If you're in a fanbase that ends up lower on this chart, well then, congratulations, you're a normal person. And also, like last time, just remember, nothing I say matters. Music, along with your admiration for any particular artist or band, is subjective. That means everybody's entitled to their own opinion. This video is made for fun, even though there is a high chance I'm going to talk shit about you at some point, and I'm okay with that. As a crazy fan myself, I happen to see this tier list as a way to celebrate our collective obsessive tendencies. Seems like the only thing that's going to be different from last time is the fact that I don't have a mustache anymore, but we're not going to talk about that. And like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please tell me down in the comments how you think I'm a genius or I'm a dumbass for what I'm about to say in this video. Working off the same tier list as last video, we're going to make a slight update. The Melanie Martinez fans, or the crybabies, or earthlings, as it were, came out in full force to tell me exactly how they thought about where I placed them on the tier list, and the fact that they took time out of their busy days to tell me, a guy with less than 100 subscribers on YouTube, how they felt is truly, truly admiring. For that reason, and for that reason alone, I'm going to promote crybabies to the A tier of the Crazy Music Fanbase tier list. Congrats, you've earned it. Alright, moving on to new fan bases that I didn't mention in the last video, let's tackle Nirvana fans. I think my biggest issue with a lot of heavy Nirvana fans is that a lot of the appeal stems from the fact that the guy is dead. Like, we all know about the 27 Club, right? Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Kurt Cobain of Nirvana all died before they were 27. And when they died at that young age, they left us with this catalog that couldn't be added to or subtracted from ever again. All these acts passed away at the peak of their stardom, and we're just left with the music, and with that, we have this romanticized idea of their legend. I also feel that a great appeal to their Nirvana fanbase is that 1990s grunge aesthetic. Now that almost half of the 90s are 30 years away, it would make sense that, you know, the plaid flannel long crazy hair and beat up jean shorts is going to get trendy again. But if you're into Nirvana and you're not my age or younger, you're probably just a dad, an uncle, or the guy that works at Walgreens. Also, yeah, okay, Nirvana is good. They changed the landscape of music overnight, blah, 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 but there are so many other great grunge bands from that era that you could obsess over that I think you're wasting your time with Nirvana. C tier. I've heard that Lana Del Rey fans are called anywhere between lunatics and lipsters, which I think is kind of cute. But Lana has given her fans a very clear aesthetic in the whole bedroom dream pop genre. Although I feel all that really manifests from that is a lot of viscocore, law of attraction, winged eyeliner, lip filler stuff, which is fine. We are pro body mod over here. Body mod is the way to go if you so choose. And honestly, Lana Del Rey might not even be the worst inspiration for it. I've never found Lana fans in the wild who were terribly offensive in the way of dragging her critics online or anything like that. At least not to the levels of other fan bases that we're going to see in this tier list. But fans do really love to replicate her style, which is consistent and unwavering. Also, add in just being sad all the time and justify it for the plot. High C tier, but I may have to come back to this one. But fans of the band Phish wish they were born 20 years ago to see the Grateful Dead play live shows in the late 60s and early 70s, but they were born in the 70s, so all they got to see was Phish. Now, I happen to really enjoy Phish, but like I said in my last video, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. Oh my god, please watch it, please watch it, please watch it. The Grateful Dead is the jam band to end all of jam bands, and Deadheads are already an S-tier fan base. I say this because the Venn diagram between the two fan bases, between Phish fans and Deadheads, is practically a circle. Both bands attract that laid-back hippie attitude where you'd really prefer to stand at a show in a field or something being intoxicated on 4 different things, but the only real difference is that one band got big in the 60s and the other band got big in the 90s. As for the broader cultural impact, the Grateful Dead and the Deadheads clearly are leading the way, but it is impressive that Phish fans have been able to keep their traditions of these live, big, huge jam band festivals around Phish going for so many years. Especially when it's around a band that I think is objectively not as good. But I don't know, maybe if you're a cop or just like an asshole, then all jam band music is terrible. Phish fans still spend a lot of dough to see their wannabe dead boys play live, and between the merch and the posters, I think that saddling them up in A tier is a good home for them. Now, you Playboi Carti fans got away from me in the last video, but you're not getting away that easy. Now, I am not an authority by any means on hip-hop or hip-hop culture, as I tend to rock and roll a little bit too much with my music, but this is just all to say that I virtually have no experience with Playboi Carti fans in the wild. But this one video I found by a creator called Jawbreaker seemed to help me get across the finish line in terms of what my opinion is on the fan base.
Carti is the best rapper of all time. You see this album right here? You see it? While I was enjoying Christmas, I was on Twitter defending this album with my life. Zoom in on my Rick Owens. Tupac died the same day Carti was born. Coincidence? I think not.
As well as this video by Spike Leak. Good name. These videos, which I recommend that you go watch, I don't think I have enough subscribers to actually put links down in the description, but I'll put the videos down in the description. But they did give me some great insight on the minds of the Playboi Carti fan. Some of the big points I took away from those videos and some other research is that there is currently a spreadsheet that is over 600 lines long of all of his unreleased music, and the fact that a lot of his fans felt disrespected when he changed up his sound on his last album, A Whole Lotta Red. I think a lot of the appeal around Playboi Carti is that he keeps this mysterious aura around him like it's a mystery or some shit, but this is completely juxtaposed to his actual music and live shows, which is just rage and go crazy, go stupid. Now, this naturally creates curiosity, I think, but insanity? I don't know if I would think so, but his fans seem pretty ardent in defending him at every step of the way. Between the obsessive and equally as nerdy spreadsheet, the zeal, and the tight-ass leather pants, I'll put these folks in low A with room to grow. And to continue with the theme of how little I know about hip-hop and hip-hop culture, Eminem stans are next, and I didn't know until researching for this video that the term stan, used to describe somebody who is an ardent and ferocious fan of something, originates from Eminem's song called Stan. I was going to go easy on Eminem fans, and then I thought about it for a second. M is one of the best to ever do it. He's great, he's talented, everybody loves him. Cool. But I think the people that really get off from reinforcing this are diagnosed with what I'm calling Larry Bird syndrome. Like, the second a white dude is even marginally better at doing something than black people who are already doing it, he's called the GOAT of whatever that thing is. Mainly by white people on heavy amounts of copium. Yeah, that's right, Marshall. I'm talking to you. Write a diss track about me. I dare you. Anyway, stans. Hi B. There's this thing that people say, and it's that hippies are people that look nice but are assholes, and that metalheads are people that look scary but are actually insanely nice. And to me, I don't think any other fan base encompasses that much as maggots or Slipknot fans. I don't know, like, to me, in my experiences, every hardcore Slipknot fan I've ever known has just been a joy of a person. Maybe it's because I'm already a crazy fan myself, I can look past this zealous and just see them as people. Slipknot's music is not only insanely influential, but their art direction between the albums, the fucking costumes, and the live shows really make it seem like you're getting a one-of-a-kind experience. And for the fans, I think they couldn't be more excited to tell people about it. And I'm saying this as a very surface-level Slipknot fan. Like, my favorite song is Before I Forget, and that's only because it was in Guitar Hero 3. Go watch my video about music and video games. Go watch it, go watch it, go watch it. Please go watch it. I love you. I think we have our first D-tier fan base here because for how outrageous and insane the Slipknot image is, you'd expect their fans to be crazier than they are. Like, I'm expecting a super juggalo, and all I'm getting is a guy helping me off the ground when I fall out of mosh pit. Y'all are all right. The next fan base we're going to talk about is the first S-tier crazy fan base of this video, and they'll be joining the ranks of Tool fans, Swifties, Juggalos, and Deadheads. These fans have been following their boys for 5 decades, and I bet you if given the chance, they'd follow them for 5 more. We're talking about the Kiss Army. Over their 50-year career, Kiss has given audiences tons of reasons to be crazy over them, all without giving them good music, which is a testament to the band and the fans. Between the theatrics and the makeup and the tongue and the merch. Oh my god, the merch. Yeah, sure, Taylor Swift might have a couple LP variants that go for a pretty penny, but does Taylor Swift have branded condoms and or coffins? Swifties down in the comments? I don't know. You're the experts. Right here, is a picture I took at a Kiss show because I was at a music festival they were playing at, and I only took the picture and stopped by their set to tell my uncle that I saw them. He has this great story about seeing them back in the 70s, and when he saw the photo, he responded to me with complete confusion as to why the band wasn't dead yet. What he didn't understand is that throughout the past 5 decades, the Kiss Army has been the foundation of Kiss. Even Maynard James Keenan of Tool is a huge Kiss fan, and that's despite the fact that most of the songs fucking suck. Strutter's a good song. I like Strutter. I think a lot of the heavy lifting for this fan base is the eagerness to buy up as much merch as you can and the longevity of some of their older fans who have been fans since they started in the 70s. And it's not even just the old fans. Like, when I went to this music festival, all day you saw kids my age and even younger in Kiss makeup. When you're a band for that long, you allow the space for familial traditions to kind of start boiling around Kiss. And for a lot of people, that's their familial tradition. It's going to go see Kiss. It's listening to Kiss. It's talking over the table while you eat out of the Kiss chip dip and plate set. I don't know. I had Kiss pinball for the PlayStation 1 when I was a kid. That shit was sick. And they're all still fans despite all the band's cringe opinions on Israel. So, S tier. Locked in. Next up are Weezer fans, and I don't want to spend 2 minutes verbally attacking 14-year-olds on the internet, so I'm just going to put you guys in B tier and leave it at that. Also, Pinkerton is not an album. On the flip side, I'll spend as much time as I want talking about Mac DeMarco fans. There is appreciating your favorite artist, right? Imagine the concept. Then there is taking your entire wardrobe, throwing it out the window, spending $400 to look like a walking thrift store, and walk around smelling like the set of Mad Men by smoking cigarettes your grandfather didn't even want to smoke. Musically, I understand the Mac DeMarco appeal, although honestly, I've never really been a fan outside of that one moment in time that was Salad Days. But the self-butt sniffing of this fan base, at least in years past, is truly inspiring. If this post off of the Mac DeMarco subreddit isn't a good enough way to sell you on this idea, I don't know what is. I'm going to read it now. I've been a Mac fan since I found a copy of RNRNC in the ditch of my neighbor's yard in early 2012, and after going to a few of his shows where he literally played to a crowd of 7 people who looked like they were on meth, these fans are way worse. But the whole matching his clothing thing is ridiculous. Not because they're trying to imitate Mac, but anybody who skateboards would know that Mac's style is literally the skateboard style. I still skate, and somehow in this day and age, cuffing your pants is the new thing that nobody has seen before. But kids have been doing it for ages. It's come to a point where I literally look like the ultimate Mac fan when going to the skate park, but since I've been dressing like this all my life, it's like it's taken a toll. Apart from that, yeah, his fan base is shitty, i.e., people talking the way he talks. Ever since Salad Days and another one, when I was in Toronto for the Time Festival, even though I met him, I had the shittiest time because I would not stop being pushed around and had kids screaming in my ear the whole time. Anyway, I met him, and after, I asked why he thinks the fans are the way they are. He says it's probably because of 1, Tyler the Creator, and 2, because of the fact that kids will follow anything these days that are big. Look at Kanye West, man. I am seeing kids with the long t-shirts down to their knees. Just goes to show that people will literally bend over backwards to follow the trend. I even saw a kid who markered his front tooth just so it would look like it had a gap. Anyway, if you're reading this and you're like, fuck this guy, didn't bring anything new to the table, subreddit, here you go. And it's a link to a Vimeo video where Mac DeMarco is kissing a guy. I'll show it to you right here.
Small cylinder, shoving deep up his ass. What do you think?
Anyway, he goes on to say, one of the first videos I saw of the guy, and I fully thought Mac was a homosexual, but I guess he's just extremely comfortable with his sexuality. Enjoy. Sounds like a real peach. The top comment of that reads that the guy sounds like a pretentious asshole, and that might be the reason why that user on Reddit deleted his account. And I know this is one isolated incident, but there's a lot of shit like this on the subreddit, and I've just listened to people talk about him, and I don't like the way that they do it. This user clearly lended themselves to self-hate and projected this onto the fan base as a whole, which, hey, might even be true. But it's for those reasons that Mac DeMarco fans are going to get saddled up in the A tier. Next, we're going to sizzle down and talk about Death Grips fans. These folks really like letting you know that this group is nothing but outstanding, which I don't really get, mainly because I felt like this guy when I first heard them.
Dad, and he's going to be reacting to bands. So the first band that we're going to show is a band called Death Grips. Okay, let's play the video. So, guillotine.
One bit to make the bottom fall to the floor, and they all fall down. It goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes.
Zika?
No, it goes.
Like, Death Grips doesn't make very accessible music, which is not a bad thing at all. Push the boundaries. I love seeing that. But their fans just can't calculate it in their head. It's like, you don't like hearing this? What do you mean? They push an interesting sound for their fans, but the drip, on the other hand, is nothing more than wife beaters and looking sweaty. It's just standard edgelord stuff. C tier, high C tier probably. Moving on, we have Sleep Token fans. For the uninitiated, Sleep Token is a prog rock band from England consisting of Vessel, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's one of those bands. Sleep Token is very theatrical, but very interesting, unlike Ghost. These fans... Okay, it's mainly just sad TikTok girls, okay? I dropped by one of their sets at a music festival, and it's almost like if you wear black, you're in the club. But of course, since the band is like a mythical gang of demigods or whatever, that's a natural lane for some cultish activity from a fan base. And for that reason, and that reason alone, that makes this fan base less crazy. Here's my argument. Taylor Swift writes about getting touched by her man while her man's boys play GTA, and people treat her like a god. Whereas Sleep Token acts as religious icons, and their fans treat them as such. And I know Sleep Token fans who are really committed and think they're outstanding, but since they're still kind of new, it's just hard to judge. And this might be another example of I really do feel like they should be crazier than they already are. Maybe we give it some time, but I'm putting them in high C tier. For our next fan base, we'll stick with the sad TikTok girls and talk about Bad Omens. Bad Omens has gotten pretty big over the last couple years, and as somebody who enjoys heavier sounding rock and roll, I can't welcome this enough. And neither can Bad Omens fans when there's all these TikTok sound bites of them that they can project their experiences onto. Plus, they're a bunch of good looking tatted up white boys. What's not to love? Although I have noticed this trend while doing research on these crazy music fanbase tier lists, and it follows this. The higher up on the chart I place a fanbase, the more posts I'll see on that artist's subreddit about calling out the fans and their bullshit. And in this case, Bad Omens fans are no exception to this rule. I really enjoy some of their songs. Artificial Suicide and Concrete Jungle are two Bad Omens songs that I absolutely adore. But some of the anecdotal evidence might seem that the zeal is too much to bear. I saw Bad Omens live last year, and while I've been in my fair share of crazy mosh pits and unruly crowds, the crowd at the Bad Omens set really made it seem like you had to concentrate on the crowd more for your own safety, rather than the band that you came to see. This may have to do with how young the general Bad Omens fan base is, but until you kids learn some manners, I'm putting you in A tier. Speaking of somebody who has no real grasp on decorum, Morgan Wallen fans are up next. Morgan Wallen has inspired millions across the world to listen to his music, despite the fact that he drops the N-word and drops chairs off of buildings onto the public below. We are truly witnessing a genius at work. Same with hip-hop. Modern country music and country music culture is not really my wheelhouse, but that's the thing about crazy music fans. Our appreciation for one another transcends genre. I see you over there in the next aisle being an apologist for a wild card American Idol dropout. Look, I will be the first and probably loudest to admit that I separate art from artist probably more than I should. So I'm not saying Morgan Wallen is an asshole, and if you listen to Morgan Wallen, you are an asshole. No, that's stupid. I'm not saying that. But it's to the extent that so many people like his music as much as they do, despite the fact that he's an asshole, which is what is inspiring about Morgan Wallen fans. Solid B tier for now, but I'm kind of worried for you guys. If Morgan Wallen starts cleaning up his act, I'm actually going to have to put you guys lower on the tier list. That's no fun to be a fan of somebody who's not an asshole. Come on. Phoebe Bridgers fans are just more sad people who need to convince their friends that Boy Genius is good, when it's really just okay. The Phoebe superfans are pretty meek by comparison, even if they do share Kyoto on their Instagram stories for the 20th day in a row. Except I do have to mention the segment in time where there was a section of her fan base that was really criticizing her and let's just call it out. They were cyberbullying her because she started going out with Bo Burnham. This is a mix of, unfortunately, that's just what it's like being a public figure. Not that anybody should be talked to like that based on who they're going out with, but I just don't feel that this is very indicative of the fan base as a whole. Not very crazy at all, actually. D tier. Follow me on Instagram. You can see me posting Kyoto there. All right, King Gizzard fans, I'm going to put you in A tier and not elaborate any further. You know why. I don't even have to bring up a specific reason. You can just look at my tier list, see King Gizzard fans at A tier, and go, yeah, that sounds about right. And before you ask, yes, I did listen to the last 10 albums that they dropped in the last 2 days, and I loved them all. Now shut up. And lastly, we have Directioners for One Direction. After some thought, I'm not sure I can rank Directioners as high as you'd probably think. Yes, okay, they stalked the group. They went cuckoo bananas crazy at all their live shows. They eat, pray, love everything that is Harry Styles. And sometimes they pay attention to the other guys. And they do everything else a fan base should have to do to be an S-tier fan base, but I just don't think they are. And it has everything to do with the boy band format. Starting with the Beatles, the boy band concept revolves around this idea of getting some attractive young lads and making pop songs. That's it. That's all there is to do, but it's effective. Very, very effective. It's the quintessential format for money making because you just hope that the fans are going to have parents who have pockets deep enough to indulge all of their obsessive tendencies. Around every single boy band, whether it's NSYNC, Boys to Men, 98 Degrees, I Didn't Forget About You, Nick Lachey, you have young ladies debating which members of the band are their favorites and which one of them are they going to get married to. I just really don't see anything that distinguishes One Direction fans from the BTS army, which we talked about in my last video. I guess the one thing that the BTS army has over One Direction fans as far as being crazy is that when One Direction was getting really big, we didn't really have Twitter being as big of a deal as it would inevitably be, so we really weren't able to see the same kind of vitriol. But that's also just the nature of Twitter anyway, so I don't know if that's the band or the app. It's probably the app. Get off of Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. What are you doing? I'm not calling it X. It's just stupid. And I apologize too. Sorry if I'm kind of stereotyping the typical One Direction fan as being a woman, but let's be honest. I'm not making this video for the two guys who grew up listening to One Direction. So yeah, A tier, whatever. And so with that, the second part of the crazy music fan base tier list is complete. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you going to tell me? Please tell me. I'd love for you to tell me. Between all the videos I've made on this channel so far, I've definitely had the most fun making these tier list videos, so let me see what else you want me to make a tier list of. I'll even make another crazy music fan base tier list if you name off some bands that I forgot again. Also, who knows, I might slip in with a movie review soon. I'm probably not going to do Pro Wrestling Iceberg again for a while. If ever. I'll probably do another one. I'll do another one if you go watch it. And with that said, I've been Jerry Bees. You've been awesome. Take it easy.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog.
What it's like to be a Weezer fan. Wow, this album's really good. I'm excited to see where this band's gonna go in the future. This is good. What the huh? What the ew, no. What? Oh, okay. Maybe. Hey, JR.